start to record. That would be great. So we don't have very many on the call at the moment, but hopefully we will have another few joining. So as we record this anyway, and I will be sending this out, the recording, sending that out with the update tomorrow, I think that we'll still continue. And then perhaps, Sophia, if we could keep an eye on the numbers, we'll see how we go a bit further on through the meeting. And so as usual, Sally, if you could give us a very brief update, and I say brief because it is brief.
Someone's got a hand up, sorry.
And then, yes, we'll go through the agenda, and hopefully then I can give you back some of your evening.
Sandra.
Sorry, Amanda, just before you go into stuff, I had real problems logging in. It took me 10 minutes, both from LBC. I left LBC and came into my own account. So others may be having similar problems.
Oh, really? How did you find it, Eleanor? Were you okay to get in? Did you get in okay?
Yeah, I was okay, luckily, but I've I don't know, I'm sort of on Zoom and Teams most of the day, so it just loaded automatically for me, but
okay,
others may be having problems, I'm not sure.
Shelley, what about you?
Did you very
Sandra's
that's not me, honest. I'm not doing it.
Sandra.
Oh my goodness, Sandra.
Sandra, are you at a rave?
Leave, come back in, but so others could be having similar issues.
I don't know.
Leave.
How did you get on, Shelley? How did you get on?
We're back together.
I came in fine, but it did come up with a security thing for a little while and then went off.
Yeah,
which was then different, but yeah, it still allowed me to come through.
Okay. It might be worth. You're all right now, Sandra. You're not looking so green now, which is a relief. I don't.
As it's the launch of St. Patrick's events tonight, and I believe 6:45. That's probably why.
Okay. Well, we'll see how we go, and hopefully, like I say, we might get a few more people, and if not, then we'll close the meeting down early. So sorry, Sally. Do you want to continue?
Yes, absolutely happy to. But as I mentioned before to Amanda before the call, I don't really have anything to update on really. This is traditionally the COVID update slot, but it's all pretty calm at the moment in terms of COVID. So there's not really anything to update on unless anybody's got any questions.
Well, that will be a no then, I think, seeing as there's no hands raised, Sally. Okay, well, thank you. And then, Steve, if you'd like to just give us a bit of an update from your area, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, everybody. Very quick update from us in ICB land. We have paused now the COVID booster programme. That came to an end nationally on the 12th of February, so about 3 weeks ago now. And we are waiting for details of whether there will be a spring booster campaign. That is likely, if there is one, to be focused on older age groups and clinically extremely vulnerable people. That's the spring booster. We think that there may be a slightly wider cohort for any future autumn into winter booster programs. The whole of the booster program is now on hold. So unless you are called for a seasonal booster, then you will not be able to get a booster jab at all. The offer of 2 jabs for anybody is still there. So if you haven't had your first or second jab for any reason, then you are able to get that still. But anything beyond those first 2 is now off the table. So I hope that's fairly clear as things go. We therefore anticipate that if there is a spring booster program, that's likely to start probably in a month or two's time. That will be focused, of course, on people aged over whatever the age group is, and those in nursing homes in residential care. We had a very successful autumn and winter booster programme where we vaccinated about 97% of people across BLMK who are resident in one of those settings. So at 97%, we think we're doing something quite right there. So we don't propose to change that for any spring cohort. With that in mind, we're moving on to some other vaccination work at the moment. And at half term, a couple of weeks ago, we vaccinated 969 children against flu. That was a great effort, and we're really pleased with that. There have been additional flu catch-up clinics last week and this week in places like Houghton Regis, as well as Luton, and there was some in Milton Keynes. I think there was one in Flitwick, so right around the place. So I'm waiting for numbers to come back from those. From the middle of March, we anticipate that we'll move on to some further catch-up boosters for and vaccinations for young people. HPV, for example, also diphtheria, tetanus and polio, and meningitis. We are very aware that the last 2 or 3 years of schooling have been interrupted, and obviously there have been higher than expected levels of absence from school. So there will be quite a large number of people now in year 10, 11, 12, 13 who may not have had those vaccinations in year 8 and 9 for very well documented reasons. They might have been absent when they were delivered at school, or they perhaps were just getting over some sort of bug but were back at school, so they didn't get the vaccination at the time. So we anticipate running some catch-up clinics for those various groups. Look out for some nice social media images that we'll be using to draw people into those clinics. And please, if you see them online, do share them. You'll find them on Facebook, Twitter, and also there'll be some text messages going out to those that we know are in that cohort. So all in all, we've had quite a busy few months. We'd like to thank everybody that's been part of the programme over the last few months, and in fact, the last couple of years, really. It's been a very busy time for everybody. We've learned a lot. Hopefully you've learned a lot as well. And we're incredibly grateful for people giving so freely of their time, because actually we know that without volunteers, there are parts of the NHS that would have toppled over in the last couple of years. So we're incredibly grateful for that. And we hope that you've gained something from volunteering as well. In particular, there are some people who have started working with the NHS off the back of their voluntary service, and we're really pleased that people have found a warm home in the NHS where they can feel supported, rewarded, and encouraged to progress in their career. So thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks, Steve. Thank you. And I'd echo that as well. So, for us and this group, and I know we don't have very many on, but as I say, this will go out in the update. But yeah, we, without this group to help us get those messages out and to understand and gain a bit of information about how people were feeling and what was going on has been really important. So thank you. Is there any questions before I bring Eleanor in to give us her presentation? No questions? Excellent.
I've got away lightly.
You have got away very lightly, yes. So Eleanor, would you like to take us forward?
Yeah, thanks, Amanda. I have a couple of slides, and I'm just wondering whether shall I show them or just chat conversationally, whatever you would prefer.
If you've got them, if you can, I think that Sophia may need to make you a presenter, but I think if you've got them, we'd be happy to see them.
Great. It's only about 5 very quick slides, and there is a short video at the end, which is just about 3 minutes long, which I could show if we feel that it would be helpful, but it may not work. I'm not the greatest at technology, but we could try.
Okay.
But first of all,
just made you a co-host, so hopefully you should be able to share now as well.
Oh, super. Thank you very much. And just before I start the slides, I just wanted to say thank you very much for inviting me. My name's Eleanor Land, and I'm a project manager with the local NHS, specifically at the ICB, like Steve. And Sophia invited me along tonight to talk to you about an epilepsy project that we're working on, specifically focused on epilepsy in children in Luton. Just share my screen. Oops. Can you see that?
We can.
Fantastic. I thought I would just start by checking that people know what epilepsy is. Epilepsy is I'll read this slide, but I won't read all the slides. Epilepsy is a common condition that affects the brain and causes frequent seizures. Seizures, you might also know seizures as fits. Some people talk about epileptic fits. We use the term seizures. Seizures are bursts of electrical activity in the brain that temporarily affect how it works. And seizures can cause a wide range of symptoms. And epilepsy can start at any age, but it usually starts either in childhood or in people over 60. And it's often lifelong, but it can sometimes slowly get better over time. We still don't really know what causes epilepsy, actually. In some cases, it's genetic. In other cases, it's due to a head trauma, such as a stroke or a brain injury. Sometimes it can be triggered actually by drug or alcohol abuse, and sometimes through lack of oxygen in childbirth. So there are many different reasons, and no one person's epilepsy symptoms are sort of exactly the same. Most people will have some sort of seizure, but the seizures differ. Some people can have kind of very convulsive jerking, whereas others, it may mean that they sort of glaze over or go blank for a while. Other people might become stiff, or they might have strange smells or tastes. Treatments also vary per person. Anti-epileptic drugs are the usual medication. In some instances, people are offered surgery on their brain. Other people wear a small electrical device inside their body to try to control their seizures. And other people are put on a very special diet, a very high protein diet, if that works for them to control their seizures. We have about 250 children in Luton who have epilepsy. Some of those children will have many seizures every single day. And other children at the other end of the scale may only have one seizure every 3 months. So it completely depends. And life obviously is quite different depending on what end of the scale you're on. But whenever a child has a seizure, it's obviously a very stressful and unpredictable time for parents. Some children are able to just allow their seizure to pass at home or at school, so long as they're made sort of comfortable by the people around them, and other children have to be taken by ambulance to hospital immediately. So it really depends. So why am I here tonight? I'm here to tell you about this project that we're working on with epilepsy. And the reason I wanted to come and talk to you was to see whether you can maybe help spread the word about this project to people that you know. And secondly, just because it's a slightly different way of working for the NHS, which I'll come on to in a moment, and I'd be interested in your thoughts if you want to either share them directly after the slides or just by email to me directly afterwards if you want to. So what's the project about? Well, as I mentioned, life can be very unpredictable and stressful for parents and carers of children who have epilepsy. A couple of years ago, we asked parents of children with epilepsy what they were really struggling with and also what would help them most. And parents told us that very often their child will have many different health and care professionals involved in the care of their child, sometimes up to 20 or 25 different health professionals. So that would be your GP, the epilepsy specialists at the Luton and Dunstable Hospital, the nurses at the hospital, the nurses in the community, your child's school, a physiotherapist, Great Ormond Street or Addenbrooke's Hospital specialists that your child might have to see from time to time. So there are lots and lots of different people involved. And the IT systems for all these different services do not talk to each other. And this makes it extremely difficult for the parents to essentially know what is going on when. And the parent ends up becoming the care coordinator for their child, not by choice, but just out of pure necessity, because it's so complex and there are so many factors at play. So parents are really kind of tearing their hair out, saying, you know, I've got letters coming through the letterbox, but they're late because something has happened in between 2 appointments. My child's medication regime has changed, but the GP hasn't been notified by the hospital doctor. Or the GP has changed something because my child had a cold and the hospital doctor doesn't know about it. So everything was everywhere and it was really a mess. And these parents were absolutely exhausted and really stressed out. And this was affecting their home life. It was also affecting the care that they wanted for their child because nothing was joined up properly. So we said, what would really help you? What would you really like that would remove the stress? And they said, what we would find really helpful is to have all my child's information in one secure place that I could show to any health professional who is involved in my child's care. And I would like that information updated in real time. And if you can solve that problem, that would make an absolute world of difference to my child and my family. And so we went away and we thought about this, and we thought it's really going to be a very difficult job to join up the IT systems between 25 different services. So we're going to override that problem. And we found a company called Patients Know Best. And Patients Know Best was set up by an NHS doctor who was struggling with exactly the same challenge. And he has created a central online platform called Patients Know Best, where the hospital can upload all the child's data. So that's the child's tests, test results, brain scans, blood tests, any appointment letters, clinic notes, anything to do with the child will be uploaded to this one central site. Social workers and teachers from schools and parents can also log into this site to see all their information in one place in real time. And the best thing about it is the parent or the young person themselves can upload their own data. So the parent can upload, they can make a note of exactly how many times the child has a seizure at home in between hospital appointments. They can say when that seizure happened, what time of day, how long it lasted, what type of seizure it was, and anything that may have triggered that seizure. And so you build up a very interesting, very detailed pattern that the doctor can look at any time and say, I can see that your child had a really intense period of seizures last week. I wonder why that was and whether we need to change their medication accordingly. So normally the parent would have had to wait weeks and weeks until the next clinic appointment to discuss that with the doctor. But now with the patient or the parent at one end and the doctor at the other, all feeding into this one central place, everybody can share the information. So sorry, I'm just going to jump slides quickly. This is sort of what it looks like. This is a visual representation. So as you can see, here's the patient or the parent. They can access this online platform called Patients Know Best on their phone or on a laptop. And here on this side are all the different specialists that can feed in as well. So everybody is looking at the same information in one place. And the idea is that actually parents are really going to benefit from seeing their child's test results. They specifically asked to be able to see it because they said the doctors are so busy at the hospital, we can actually spot very often if something has changed, if there's a pattern. It'll also enable us to ask really specific questions about our child's care to the doctors when we want to talk to them. The benefit of this platform is that there's also a messaging function. So you can just message your child's doctor or nurse directly through the platform at any time of day, because parents were saying throughout the day, you know, I'm busy, I'm doing the school run, or I'm looking after my child. It's only actually at night when I'm lying in bed and thinking about all the questions that I might want to ask the doctor, you know, that's when my brain is free and clear and I can think. So normally I would have to wait months for the next appointment, but now through PKB, I can just send a very quick message at 11 o'clock at night. The doctor will pick it up the next morning and get back to me, and everything kind of ticks over very nicely. So this is the platform that we've created. This is what it looks like when you first log into the platform. Don't worry too much about the writing at the top because it's very tiny, but really just at the bottom of the slide there, you can see that there are different buttons that can be pressed for different things. So you can message your doctor, as I said, just here. Here in the health button, you can upload when your child has a seizure and all the information about that. In the treatments button, it lists all the child's medications. Oh, excuse me, sorry. We had parents who weren't even able to leave Luton because they were so worried that their child might have a seizure while they were in Milton Keynes, and they would have to take their child to the hospital in Milton Keynes. If they didn't know any of the doctors at the Milton Keynes Hospital, they said it would be an absolute nightmare to have to start right from the beginning and tell their child's story and medical history to the clinician there, and it would take too long, and they were very, very stressed, so they weren't even going outside Luton. Whereas now, if all their child's information is on Patients Know Best, they can go sort of wherever they like, knowing that it's all safely stored on their phone. If they do have to go to an unfamiliar hospital, they can just show it directly to the doctor, who can take all the information straight off the platform and know everything they need to know about that child in an emergency situation. So the benefits are obviously huge. Benefits to patients is that all the information is in one place. Benefits to the parents is that they can message the doctor immediately, and they've got that reassurance that if they're taken to hospital, they can just concentrate on comforting their child rather than having to repeat the child's information over and over and over. And the benefit to clinicians is that the clinicians get a much better idea of what is actually happening at home in between hospital appointments, whereas previously they had to kind of wait months and months, or they would have to ask a parent to jot things down on a piece of paper, and the parent may forget to bring that piece of paper with them to the appointment. So this is really, you know, very, very useful. All the information in one place and updated in real time. So that's it from me. I just wanted to let you know about this project, and if you could help spread the word either to people that you know who have epilepsy who would benefit from this, that would be fabulous. Or let us know if you have any thoughts. The hope is that we can expand this to adults in Luton with epilepsy later in the year, but that's currently just to be decided. But yes, any questions, please let me know, and thank you very much for letting me tell you about it.
Thank you so much, Eleanor. And the film was very powerful. So great to know that the family made it to Disneyland. So that's really great. And I will certainly pass this and share the information. If you could get the slides to me and the link to the film for tomorrow, then when I send out the update, I can include that within the update. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions for Eleanor? Shelley?
Not exactly a question, but I'm one of the directors of Simply D's events. We've got our health and wellbeing event coming up on the 20th of May, in which we're doing it as a drop-in kind of thing at the Luton Irish Forum. If you was wanting to have a stand there and talk about it and show people there, you're more than welcome to.
That's really kind. That's a really kind offer. Thank you. Yes, I'm sure we would be interested.
I've just put our Facebook event link on there.
That would be
That's
wonderful.
open to everyone else on the call as well. We've got all sorts, because we're doing health and wellbeing. So it's the Keep Fit, it's the eating well, but then it's a load of other different agencies that all to do with like Mind, and then there's a few people that do like the yoga and that kind of stuff there as well. So it's just a general for everyone to turn up and pick up bits. So
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shelley. If you can send me that, I can include that within the update as well.
Oh, okay, yep.
And then so I usually do the updates once a week. I'm only here until the end of the month, but I'll make sure that that's included within the updates.
Cool.
So thank you. Does anybody else have any questions, either for Eleanor or for Shelley?
I had a question that I put into the chat actually. I was just wanting to know, I mean, like, I'm assuming this is an app. Is it specific to epilepsy only, or can it be used for other clinical needs?
So technically, the technology is available to anyone who has any health condition, but not all hospitals in the UK are using it yet, because it's still fairly new. Hopefully that will change over time. In Luton, we're just trialling it to begin with children with epilepsy. And as I say, we're hoping to expand it to adults as well, so that we can test it throughout the entire sort of lifespan. We hope it will be made available to people with other health conditions as well. You can obviously tailor the technology to whatever particular health condition you have. So we've tailored it specifically for epilepsy, but you could also tailor it specifically for cancer or stoma surgery or asthma, any particular condition. This project is just about epilepsy, but that we hope to change that in the future.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Eleanor. Well, I think if we have no more questions, I just wanted to say that this will be the last meeting like this in this format. I know that Sophia and the team in public health are looking at how this forum or a similar forum will be taken forward, and it will also be my last meeting, because I actually leave the council at the end of March. So to those of you on the call, it's been a real pleasure. Oh, Sally, you got a question?
I just wanted to say thank you, Amanda, for all you've done to this group, over the last, how long has it been? When did we have our first Community Champions, COVID Champions?
Gosh,
18
It
months?
was October 2020, I think it was.
Yeah, I think
Crazy,
it probably
isn't it?
was. Yeah.
It's been quite a journey. So thank you so much for all of your unfaltering energy, enthusiasm, coordination, smile.
Thanks, Sally.
It's been
Yes,
an
thank
absolute
you so
pleasure.
much, Amanda.
Oh, thanks.
It's
It
a shame
has-
there's not more of the original group on this call to say their thanks, but I'm sure they all think it as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Remember
It
those
has-
first meetings where it was just like,
I know,
so
and
mad.
it's lots of questions. And Steve,
Yeah.
you weren't here for those first ones, but your colleague Dan had he did take quite a lot of flack actually for that. So yeah, we had some very lively debates, I think we can agree, in those early days.
Well, I know Dan very well, and he's quite capable of giving it back. So.
Oh yeah, he did very well, I have to say. So, but yes, I would like to say a huge thank you, because I know, especially, you know, for those of you that are on the call, that you've been really excellent at passing those messages out, and the commitment and everything else has been really great. So thank you. Yeah, so that's sort of an end of an era, really, isn't it? It's yeah, it's a very strange one, but like I say, hopefully we'll continue on with the Wellbeing Champions. So just keep your eye open for information about that. But thank you all very much, and thanks for your time this evening as well.
Thanks very much,
Thanks,
everybody.
Amanda. Thank
Thanks.
you.
Yeah, until our
Bye.
paths cross again.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
Take care. Bye-bye, everyone. Have a
Thanks,
great
Steve.
evening.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody. Bye. Is that it?
Well, Amanda,
Have
short
we
and
got- shall we
sweet,
turn
the final
the
one.
recording off? Yeah, we can stop recording.